For today's project, we will be using this ice silicone mold from Dollar Tree. Disclaimer, don't use this mold for making ice after you've made these projects. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I took some of these pillar candles from Dollar Tree, just the plain ones, and I melted them in boiling water over the stove. I tried to use my wax warmer, but that did not work. I also used a plastic fork to fish out the wick. I then poured all of these into the mold, and then once it was all cooled down, I popped them all out. I used some peppermint oil, about 5 or 6 drops in each one. And then I'm drying off all of the excess stuff that I sprayed in there so they would slide out. I didn't have any bags that were plain, so I just used Ziploc bags and cut off the tops. And then I put 4 in each baggie. These are just regular sandwich size. And I just tied a knot, double knot on these with this little cute truck bow. And I fit 4 in each one, so that's one whole tray of those. And I put them in that little warmer, paired it up in a gift bag with some little tea lights, and you have a perfect gift. For this next part, this is where it gets a little weird. I put hot glue in these thinking that these would be awesome to do. But what I will say is you definitely want to put something in there so that they will come out, because the glue really likes to stick to the silicone for whatever reason. And the other thing that I learned is that when you fill it up to the top, they really do not like coming out of this tray. So what I ended up doing was, and you'll see in a minute, is using a mini glue gun so I could really get into all of the nooks and crannies. And then I filled it up like halfway. And you see me tapping it and stuff to get all of the air bubbles. So here's the little mini glue gun. This I feel like worked the best. And then I only filled them about halfway, not all the way to the top. Also, you want to put something like cooking oil or cooking spray or something, but very little. You don't need a lot, just so that they don't stick to the mold. And I will say this, if you do this, only use, like I plan to get new molds for this, just for the wax melting, and then ones for just for the hot glue. Because honestly, this does damage a little bit the mold, especially the first time I did it, because I didn't use any spray or anything for them to come out easy. So lesson learned. Yeah, so here I am. I'm just filling up halfway, and I'm tapping it, and I'm making sure that, there's all kinds of things. The hot glue, it will settle. So if you see that it's all bumpy and all uneven, that will happen. But for the most part, it will flatten out. So don't be impatient. I was a little impatient, but it does work. And then when I popped them out, you can see it was much easier to get these out when I did it that way. I'm just wiping off any residue. And then I'm going to start cutting off any extra pieces or anything that is coming out, because the first ones I did not come out perfect, for sure. Far from it. So I'm just trimming them off, because I was going to sand them off, and when I tried that didn't really work. So I just used scissors to trim it off. So now the fun part, we're going to paint them. And I will say that I kind of wish I had Mod Podged these first, because the glue does kind of wipe off. So I would recommend Mod Podging them, painting them, and then Mod Podging on top with like a spray Mod Podge, which I also have. So that's what I would recommend on these. And I also was impatient. I'm not the best painter. But I also should have used detail brushes instead of these bigger brushes. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, definitely use small little detail brushes when you're doing these because your project will come out much, much better that way. So yeah. So I did learn a lot doing this, and I will say I would love to try it again. I've learned a lot, and I will definitely say that I would use smaller brushes. I wouldn't fill up the whole silicone mold all the way to the top. I would definitely use some nonstick spray, but I would probably use like a Q-tip so I don't get it all over and use way too much because I did that and it was messy. So lesson learned there. And for the wax melts, I probably wouldn't even use that because I feel like the wax will come out easy enough. But I was scared after this happened with the hot glue. So yeah. So I'm painting now. I learned my lesson. I'm doing a much finer brush, and it was definitely working much better and much easier. I don't have the steadiest hand when doing this. I will say on the camera right now, looking at it, it doesn't look that bad, but I was having a heck of a time keeping my hands still and adding these details to the best that I could. I also added some gold for the what did you call that? Oh my goodness. For the details, the little, candy wrapper details and the center there, and for the bows around the candy canes. I just like that. I mean, you could use silver, you could use whatever you want. I chose gold because gold, red, and green, Christmas colors, like pretty classic. But you could have fun with this and do all kinds of colors that match your decor or your theme for that year. So I think this is wonderful. Dollar Tree also has this mold with bells instead of the candies. So if you wanted to do that as well, that would be really fun. But yeah, this was pretty fun. It's a different project. I just felt it was something different. I don't know, something that I came up in my brain, my weird brain, that I had to try. And so, yeah. And you can see the mold on the right, on the left, on the right. Wow, on the right. Sorry about that. I just turned it over so I could see the detail, and because I couldn't really see the detail before I started painting these, so that's why it's there. Okay, so in a minute here, you'll see them all painted up. Like I said, I would definitely spray some Mod Podge over this, even Mod Podge like before you paint them, because the paint liked to slide off, especially when you touch it with your fingers, so to get it to stick. But here they are all painted up. I think they're kind of cute, a little messy, but this would be a fun project to do with kids. If you like this project, give me a thumbs up, comment down below, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I love and appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.